All right, got a game here. Second position. I recorded a ton of videos on Tuesday when I was grinding for Master, and then I kind of overplayed, to be honest. This game, don't like seeing Helena getting picked, but the row's not that good, so whatever. I basically overplayed the game, and then I was like kind of done with it and didn't want to deal with it for most of last week. I don't know that I've played more than 1 or 2 games since then, so we're gonna try to get another one in and just get an upload up for tomorrow. I kind of would have liked to play Hundro, actually, this situation. The techs are nothing special. The troop transports support a double full space strategy, which is good with Rhombur. Nothing here says anything Ariana, so I think we're going to go Rhombur. The row is pretty bad. The good news is with Helena and Armand, it should turn over quickly. The bad news is with Helena and Armand, I'm probably not getting good cards. So we're going to rely on techs instead. Five Persuasion is good. Drawing both my faction is not. I guess because Armand took an immediate fold space, we don't have to worry about that. We're just going to go smuggling instead. The combat is a good second place combat. So let's go smuggle first. We probably want to play... Well, let's see what the troops add up to. Like, playing the Airkeen is good here, but like having 4 persuasion for Imperial Bashar is not bad. I think Rhombur would be a fun leader to do Bashar on, because 1 Dreadnought plus a bunch of daggers equals a lot of strength with little investment. But we'll see. I mean, I'd also be happy with a Guild Administrator, for example, or a Freighter Fleet. Okay, so Still Suits is gone. I kind of wanted that one. I don't really want a Hardy Warriors here, to be quite honest, but... You know, well, I don't know. We'll see what Armand does. We could also just go Wealth. Like, we're going to smuggle again next round. Why not, right? I don't like ignoring the combat, but... Okay, so Armand bows out without participating in the combat at all. Which is interesting. I mean, it makes sense he wants the power play. Didn't pick up power play. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Do you not have access? I don't know. That was kind of weird. If we play Diplomacy, we get to play Seek Allies later, which is nice, but then we don't get the Bashar. I'm going to play Seek Allies so that I have 4 Persuasion for the Bashar. I should be the first person to reveal out of this bunch. And I have yellow and green in my next hand, so I'll get a round 2 Swordmaster, which is nice. Not what I was planning to do. I was planning to do Fold Space, but sometimes that's what, you know, you don't always get what you want. Normally, I always prefer Swordmaster, but this one game I was like, hey, I'll do Interstellar, and then the game said, nah, you're not going to do that, actually. You're going to do the thing that you always do. Okay, well, if you say so. I don't love not participating in this combat because second place is so juicy. But when you draw double faction, it is probably better to play the faction. Hundro, is he using his ring? No, he's just grabbing spice to grab it. That's fair. I mean, he needs it for his ring for later. Tech negotiation. Is there an artillery? No, there's not. She's just kind of walking in persuasion. So we'll get a Bashar. You know, it's an okay card. It's good enough. When you're playing against an Armand and a Helena, you don't expect to get very good cards, but the nice thing about Bashar is he works with bad ones. So, you know, that scout, no one's going to fight us for that one. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, Bashar shouldn't trigger off of BG's sister unless we choose to trigger the daggers, I don't think. Don't quote me on that, but it shouldn't provide one dagger if we choose Persuasion. This is a better card than Bashar, but we did not have access to it. So it is what it is. We're revealing first next round, but Armand and Helena will both have their rings, right? Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of flux in the row. Siege of Arakeen. So first action here. I don't think there's any reason to play our ring. Dune, cash out, take Solari. Siege of Arcane's not a great one to see just because it's not a great one to see just because the second place for Solari is going to give somebody else a Swordmaster. We want to go for the combat if we can. Although without access to Hardy Warriors, it doesn't seem super likely. Lena, what are you going to ring? Probably the negotiated withdraw? No. Okay, that's odd. I wasn't expecting that, actually. This is not a great card. I mean, it's okay for Helena because it goes to City, but it's still not very good. Maybe she just drew both of her daggers, and she's just like, no, she has a dagger in her discard pile. I don't really know what the logic there is. Arakeen, okay, both the cities getting taken, so we may not be able to win this one either. But next round we should have the biggest garrison of anybody. We would like to pick up some faction because we have Swordmaster. BG's sister being the best of those options. Armand didn't ring her, so seems plausible. Oh, you dirty bastard, Hundro. If that was your opening card, you could have just done that round one, right? Now I guess you're too far back in position. Well, Hundro's already at 3 points. Guild access. That's kind of scary. He's going to get those troop transports, too. That's not good at all. Lucky bastard. If I went ring to Haga Basin, that's 3 spice. I don't have anything useful to do with that. I mean, I could buy the transports, but that's just a denial play to Hundro. I don't like that. I don't have Interstellar. I don't even have a single guild influence. The good news is he's not participating in this combat, but I don't really have a way to win it. Helena and Armand are playing in some really weird ways. I'm gonna be honest. It's some strange play patterns from these guys. So I think the play here is ring tech negotiation. That leaves us with 3 that we can still get the sister if we need her. So ring gives us a negotiator. The space gives us... You know, I don't know that invasion ships is that good here. Let's... Well, but the problem is if we buy the snoopers, we open up the possibility of giving Hundro stronger tech. But, I mean, we ought to... For Rhombur, we ought to use our advantages. Water of Life's not terrible. Looks like he's going to take the sister away from me. Yeah. That sucks. In the shadows, though, if Helena does... Like, Helena should be picking that up here. I'm not going to get it, because even if I did, Armand would. So it's not a good round for me, really, besides getting my Swordmaster. Armand's probably just going to pick up a liaison, because this is kind of junk. We want to get a spice for this Water of Life sooner or later. But right now, there's not an application for it, because the cards aren't good. So... Liaison, I guess. I'm not excited about it, but... There you go. We need to start picking up faction. We shouldn't have picked up Liaison. It doesn't have any daggers. We could have picked up a Scout. I don't know. Yeah, it probably is better, actually. The dagger's worth more than the persuasion for here. Yeah, Hundro is definitely a threat now. Ugh. Wow, that's bad. New Tech being flagship is okay, because he couldn't get that anyway. Ordnance, okay. We want to try to beat Hundro at this combat for sure, because A, we don't want him to have it. B, we want to have it. So, yeah, definitely Arakeen being the priority. Second priority, probably Mintat. We have 2 daggers in hand. If we could draw into like a Bashar, we would be in good shape. We're 1 Solari away from a Dreadnought, if that matters. But High Council with the Ordnance is also pretty good. We can't gather Spice right now with this hand. Like, this hand is so bad. Yeah, this hand is so bad. What are you ringing, Helena? The good one. Okay. Gunthopter is pretty good for me, though. This is not going to be one of those games where having a Swordmaster is really overpowering. If I had Wealth, I would go to Wealth to block Hundro, but I can't. So we go to Arakeen here. Probably we put 3 troops in. We have 2 daggers in hand, so... Yeah, that's a little better. Let's just say it's not the best card we could have drawn. It's the worst card we could have drawn, realistically. But let's see what 100 does with his action here. The good news is we have enough persuasion that we're probable for the Gunthopter, unless one of the people that has fewer agents than us takes it first. And Gunthopter actually does work well with what we're doing. That's interesting as a play. What is he trying to do there? Buys the invasion ships, but you don't have any guild influence, so you're also Helena. I think this person's just inexperienced, because that makes no sense. Wind traps. That's pretty good. Yeah, that play makes no sense. You can already infiltrate like half the board anyway, and you don't. If you had Interstellar, it would make sense, but you don't. So, I don't know what he's going for. We can smuggle or we can gather spice. Given that we have the Water of Life, I think gathering spice is better. We could also Mintat, but no one can take it from us, so let's just gather the spice first. Do we deploy a troop here? I mean, 2 daggers in hand. Hunter does technically have an intrigue card, but like his purchases are BG Sister, so he could have that. Guild Administrator. That's the only card that he has that could do that, though. And he has a dagger in play. I think we're safe. Let's put a troop in. We really want this combat. Does he flip his daggers up? He does. So that means now we're kind of in a tough spot where we almost want to reveal early. Because if we mint at, well, let's Water of Life here. I kind of hate that play, but it does allow us to not have to play the daggers and still win the combat. And we also could get Esmar off of it, which would be totally worth it. If Esmar doesn't go first. Now, why did you do that? I guess because you have a BG card already, but I don't think Sister is one of the ones that I would use that way. Right now, we really need to prioritize faction. Unless we just want to get lucky and get a Spy Satellites to come up, which, yeah. So Helena only has 4, but she picks up the card she reserved. Armand has 4 cards in hand, so he may end up getting Esmar. Let's see. I did not expect Hundra to have 3 daggers in hand. That was the absolute highest amount he could have. So Armand only has 4, which means Esmar is a guarantee if we play the Water of Life, which means that I think even though I was on the fence about it, I do want to grab him. Gunthopter is also pretty good. Let's Water of Life just because I don't want to waste an agent. Okay, so now I'm at 8. I can play my Signet Ring, or I can play Diplomacy, but we already talked about how we need faction, so let's play the Diplomacy. It's worth more. And we just spent a water, so let's go ahead and get that water right back. Pick up the Scout. I don't think we're going to draw Bashar often enough to make that card not bad. Do you have the combat card, Hundro? Oh, he does. Bastard. That's so annoying. That smug look on his face. It wasn't enough that he got lucky enough to draw the guild authorization. He also had to have a combat card, too. At least he's really far away from his Swordmaster. Well, there's our Bashar with none of our daggers, so... yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So that makes Helena's play make a little bit more sense. She had the power play. She probably knew she was going to draw it, so it's adding up a little bit now. Armand goes Interstellar. Doing it with the freighter fleet's pretty awkward, but sometimes you don't get a choice. We kind of have to go like Research Station or Arakeen here because our hand is so garbage. I spent all my troops on that, dude. That's so annoying. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess this just isn't our game, is it? Holy crap. We might have to go Research Station here. In which point the troop deploy doesn't do anything. The actual worst cards of our deck, plus Bashar. Did not want to use my 2 water for that. But the good side thing is we might get a Spice Must Flow out of it. And we can use Bashar for an extra troop. Helena has so many troops that I think she still wins the combat. I can't believe he put an extra troop in and used an entry card and still lost that. Because he had 3 daggers plus a combat card in hand. It's crazy. The good news is nobody got their Swordmaster round 3, so we've kind of started to expand that advantage. And it looks like nobody, well, Hundro is. I was going to say nobody's getting it round 4, but somebody is. Now, why did she do that? That was such a weird play, to play your In the Shadows for Mentat. You gotta have something else. Yeah, that's way better, Helena. She doesn't tap out, so we still don't know her troop deployments. Armand Swordmaster. We could choose not to Research Station. We could go to Carthage instead. I think I just want the Research Station, though. So let's draw. The troop or the trash? Well, I think we're not going to win the combat. So let's trash the reconnaissance. I will put a troop in for value, though. You know what? I should really not be doing that. That's just a mistake. So we're at 9 persuasion. The row's no good, but, you know, Spice Must Flow is always helpful. A little bit weird to have Spice Must Flow be your first point of the game, but that's how it happens sometimes. We play our Signet Ring to Tech Negotiation. Oh, freaking troop transports, dude. Interstellar, stop being imbalanced. And now he's got enough for a Swordmaster. Very, very annoying. Maybe I should have taken the troop transports just to hate on him, but, like, that's such a bad play. Hopefully Helena doesn't let him win this combat. We can get a four-coster. We want Ordnance. It's pretty good. We just don't have the High Council seat yet. Spy set. There it is. Well, we might be able to pull this one out still. We just need 1 Solari. Shouldn't be too hard to get. Is this better than a Spice Must Flow? Maybe. Just because we need more faction. It does work with the Bashar. Let's see what Armand buys. It might be good just, you know, see a point, take a point, but our deck is such trash. If we're gonna draw that thing. It's gonna weigh us the hell down. Okay, well the sister's gone anyway. No, we gotta buy the Spice Must Flow. Too early for what I'm comfortable with, but you know it's our only option really. Cool, thank you, Elena. I mean, 2 water is almost worth a point on its own. So how much of a loss this is for Hundro, I don't know, but better than him having a point. Didn't take us long, did it? Did not take us long to draw this piece of crap. I think we want to play Esmar just because we need the faction. Although there is still spy satellites out there. if we want to get spy satellites, what's the fastest path to that? Probably gathering spice. The problem is we can't really do that. I guess we, Armand gave us the Solari to go High Council. We should just do it. Now our ordnance is turned on. Play Hardy, maybe? It's a little awkward. Esmar gives us spice, though, so it helps us towards the, if we draw our ring next hand, most likely we can get the spy satellites off Esmar plus that. And the Spiceless Flow is going to give us spice, too. It's a terrible card, but, like, the spice is not horrible. If we're getting spy satellites, we don't need to play Esmar at all. So I think we play Diplomacy plus Bashar. So I'd probably play Bashar, trash a card. Or just add a single troop in, honestly, would be decent. But I don't know. I mean, with these deployments, we may not get anything useful out of that. Let's see what Carthag gives us before we decide that. Private Army. We can't afford Private Army, but we do have Snoopers. Trash the Dagger. One troop is 6. Second place is pretty good. Let's stay out of this for now. If we want to, we can always go to, like, Still Suits. Still put a troop in if we need that. So, spy satellites, right? We want to go for an alliance. The alliance we're most likely to get is Emperor. But it's not one that's any... Like, the spaces are bad. We're not going to get BG because there's an In the Shadows in the game. Fremen's a possibility. And if we go to Still Suits, we have more access to spice. Right? If we have the water to go to Great Flat, we could just snap the spy satellites up next round, potentially. Which I like the idea of. Nobody can afford them right now. One of these two could hypothetically get there, but I don't think that's likely. If Hundro did, it would be absolutely terrifying, and that's kind of the problem, right? Like, Hundro could go here, plus here. And we don't have any green, so we can't block the tech negotiation space. And it looks like that's what he's about to do. And there's just nothing I can do about it. And then him going there gives Helena the spice for the tech. So, at this point, I almost think we assume that we don't get spy satellites. We lose Still Suits, which is pretty frustrating. I guess we're going to Secrets instead. There's no way for us to block Hundro from the spy satellites. Like right now, that's 3 points for him. It's insanely good. I don't have the green, so it doesn't matter. He's outplaying the hell out of these two, and probably also me. We could go to fold space just for the faction. It's not terrible, honestly. If we don't get the spy stats, we want to play the Esmar. Let's pick up the intrigue. Charisma. Okay. Well, not the greatest. Maybe a spice must flow later. Probably food for our snoopers. What could we have done differently? Well, oh, he only goes smuggling. Okay, he didn't do it. We're going first next round. We'll have 2 spice from Esmar. So as long as we draw the ring, we should be able to go to tech negotiation and take the spy stats before he does. Hello. You make charisma a lot more impressive, don't you? Oh. Okay, well. Good job, Armand. You didn't have research station or high council or selective breeding, so I didn't think that was going to happen, but more power to you. Our best shot at the alliance remains. Our best shot at an alliance remains Emperor. What do we think about liaisons at this point? Since we're picking up spy sats, most likely, I think we like them now. Because faction matters a lot less, and persuasion matters a lot more. I wonder if we should have added a troop with that Bashar. Clearly Bashar is not doing a whole lot for us. Ordnance, though, should mean that we are well positioned for future conflicts. There is one such future conflict. Okay, so we want to go to the Dreadnought space to do this, but we can't because of the... we are 1 Solari short, so I'm not taking any risks here. Okay, so we actually take a negotiator, spy sats. That way we still have a little bit of spice left over. And that bumps us up all the way to like 6 points. We want to focus the combat, but we also have enough for a spice must flow. Probably like liaison to Arakeen. We have the charisma, which we can use to get it. It's a new tech. Film. Film would be great for us. On deck, we have Dagger Convincing. So we're not going to draw anything revolutionary. But if Liaison gives us a Convincing, we're part of the combat, and we're also still on 9. So it's not bad. I definitely feel like I'm playing without a full deck of cards, though. Like, I haven't used the Dreadnought bonus, and I'm just using the ring, basically. I haven't used it that many times, so we are definitely swimming against the current here. Undro preps for a highliner next round. Bad news for me. Because I really want to win the next combat. I could choose to invest more in them next combat than this one, but honestly, we don't have that many troops. The investment's not super relevant either way. Hardy is kind of unfortunate. Because it means we're not super likely to win. 2 troops plus ordnance is only 8. So I think we still do... Maybe we want Carthag now. Just because we have snoopers. So one intrigue card goes a little further. And if we get a combat one, that can affect our troop deployments. Not very useful. Okay, yeah, let's we only have 1 city access is the thing, and we're guaranteed not to draw any. So I think we actually go to Arakeen. Draw the Convincing. That's fine with me. Put 1 in. It's enough to get second. Pretty likely. And I think we just reveal for the Spice Must Flow and save the Charisma. I just think we pass on this next action here. We could play Dune and get to 4 Spice. Technically, we could win the combat with the Private Army, but, like, that's not a good use of the card, in my opinion. There's an argument to smuggle to block Hundro from doing his stupid little shuttle fleet thing. Then we have to play the Charisma to get the Spice Must Flow, though. And we're gonna shuffle soon, so, like, we just put that crap back in our deck, you know? Haga Basin's off the table. Elena does not want to lose this. I think we probably do want to smuggle. Did Hunter use his ring? He did. So his smuggling is his only way of actually getting that to go off. But it's definitely what he wants to do. And because he's the person that's way out in the lead, I think we have to. It might cost us a point from a Spice Must Flow later, potentially, but if he wins, we lose. So it kind of doesn't matter. The 1 Solari is also helpful for getting a Dreadnought in the future, potentially. He didn't play a BG card, so he's just really going there for value. The problem is if we Charisma now, getting the next Spice Must Flow just gets harder. Because we're going to have 2 Spice Must Flows in our deck. And we're not Ilbon. Like, we don't have the ability to just draw forever and then power through it. Disposal, no. At least we can afford a Dreadnought. That could come into play. Probably won't, but it could. We need to find alternative points, and we haven't really done that yet. Unfortunately, I think we play the Charisma just because we can't really say no to points right now. We probably just end up buying only these 2 cards from here on out. If a good card gets put out, like if Armand uses his ring here and a card comes out, then sure, but it doesn't seem very likely to happen. Armand's getting a Spice and Slow, but he's in a way better position than we are. I feel I'm trying to, like, I'm almost about to do like a post-mortem analysis of like why did we lose this game. I think it's because our deck sucked. Like I think we just didn't get good cards. It would have been fine if we had gotten like Interstellar, but we didn't get that either. Armand just went down a point. What? Wasn't he at 7? Did somebody steal an alliance from him? Hundro buys a Spice Must Flow. I'm confused. Maybe I'm just counting. Maybe I just pre-counted the Spice Must Flow. So, like, basically our path to victory is winning the next combat. But the problem is we don't have enough spice to do that. I mean, we might, but I don't know. We have 2 water and we have 2 spice. That's a good place to be. That's enough to use a private army. It's enough to go to selective breeding. It's enough to go to research station. But we're going last, so it's gonna be rough. Well, there's the 2-pointer we were looking for, but this persuasion is total garbage. Armand can go research station, but nobody else can. Flagship is a point, but it requires more spice than we have and than we could reasonably get. I think Armand's going to take it anyway. Yeah. Which is fine. I mean, you know, better that than him having a highliner, maybe. I mean, the troops from the flagship probably are about as much as a highliner, to be honest. So how do we win the combat? I don't know. I don't know. Our deck isn't that impressive either. It's a crappy deck. I mean, realistically, we have 4 points from Spy Satellites. We need to find 3 more points. If we could somehow win the combat and get a Spice Must Flow, we'd be in a pretty happy spot. And there's the troop transports again. Oh my gosh. This guy. So I don't think we can win the combat. What are we going to do about that? She's still got to seek allies. Holy moly. That's crazy. That's funny. 5 intrigues is pretty frightening, too. I don't think we can win this combat. I think we have to hope that Hunter doesn't have like a way to get a BG bump. Maybe a little premature because, you know, there's 2 other players that deny him the combat win, but the thing is, he's also got the flagship that we know he has, so it's going to be really hard to prevent that. It takes us to 8, actually. That's not horrible. Do we even put the troop in? I think the 2nd and 3rd place rewards are good enough that we do. So we're at 6. 11. Hundro's gonna beat that. We just buy a Dreadnought and gear up for next round. Or maybe we go Mentat and just try to get a Spice Must Flow. There's a 1 in 5 chance we draw the other Spice Must Flow and feel dumb. But, you know, I mean, Spice Must Flow is probably how we win the game. So, that's our path, right? Hunter's at 16. Did he reveal his sister yet? No, so he might have 2 more daggers in hand. Instead of going Mentat, what if we went to tech negotiation? I mean, that guarantees the spice must flow. Which seems better, and the next hand is way better than this one. The only problem is the Bashar doesn't have anything to combo with. Dreadnought. Okay, I did not anticipate that being taken. That was kind of important space for me to go to, actually. Do we smuggle in the vain hopes of getting more troops for next round? Well, we don't have Mentat. We need to lock up tech negotiation. A water from wind traps? Eh? If we save it, we could probably get another Spice Must Flow next round. From Spaceport. Why not get the wind traps? It doesn't cost us any water. Or any spice, I mean. Pulsewin would be pretty good, actually. So Hunter does take the smuggling here. He's going to 9. I mean, I still think he just wins. Nobody has any plausible... Let me see here. Maybe if Armand went to, like, Hardy Warriors... I mean, who knows what Helena has, right? Yeah, the problem with Rhombur is that you can only get Dreadnoughts from this one board space. And it's very inefficient. Well, now we have 4 tech, so we don't lose anything for, like, in-game points if we trash the snoopers. But Private Army is combat strength. So I don't really want to do that. Getting 3 spies for 1 troop, I think, is probably worthwhile. We're 2, 3, 5. So, like, any spice at all puts us over the edge to where we could... So Helena doesn't deploy, which basically means that she doesn't think she can beat... She doesn't think she can beat Hundro, and she's saving for next round. 6 entry cards, though, is crazy. Like, somebody's going to steal from her. Still suits. Put 2 more in, maybe? That only puts you to 11, so you have to have combat cards, and you don't have them. So we've all accepted that Hundra is winning this combat. What if we play Esmar? If we play Esmar, we get a guild bump, which doesn't matter. We draw a card, which probably doesn't matter. And we give Helena Spice, which doesn't matter. We do end up Spice neutral, but we end up down on Solari. We clean up the Spice a little bit for other people. If we draw into faction, we're probably going to be sad. But we could draw into Spice Must Flow and get it out of our deck. I don't suppose any of this matters. Costing me Solari is not great, especially when economic supremacy could come up. Let's just reveal early. All we need to get to 10 now is just to win the next combat, if we get lucky on what the combat is. He doesn't have a Spice Must Flow, which is nice. What are his techs? Troop transports and what else? Flagship. He's got enough money to use it again. Ordnance isn't doing a whole lot for me here. Probably just because I don't have a troop income. If I can get to Highliner, if I can get to Hardy Warriors, I can make it matter, but having 6 on a combat's just not that much. Trashing cards with the Shard actually isn't that relevant because like I'm filling my deck with these crappy Spicemas flows. What I need to win here is to draw the Corner of the Market card. If Armand buys a Spicemas flow now, he's at 8. What else could he do? I don't know. I think these two have sleepwalked into a Hundro victory. I don't think that they're playing very well. If they win, that's fine, but it doesn't matter. Like I need to play to beat Hundro. If somebody else beats me, then whatever. Somebody's going to get to 10 next round, so we got to make sure that we're there with them. I should be the only person with enough spice to Highliner next round, and I definitely have the access. So that's going to be our plan. Okay, he's got the Spicemas flow. I'm guessing he was thinking about flipping the sister into daggers, which is why he took a while to make his decision. Oh, he did? Oh, he has enough to do it anyway. Okay, I see. But he didn't have enough to beat Hundro, I don't think. Not without combat cards. Maybe if he had played things a little differently. Did he have any Fremen access? Yeah, I mean, I think Hardy Warriors would have been logical. I don't know. We're not going to play that for sure. Problem is, if we Highliner, we don't have the Private Army Spice, but it shouldn't be that difficult to go grab it. Okay, so we're actually at 8 Persuasion with this hand, which is kind of interesting. But the Spicemas flow doesn't matter. What matters is winning the combat. Economic Supremacy. So, not playing Esmar was the right choice. All we need to win the game, really, is to win this combat and have 6 Solari, which should be pretty easy to do. I say that's all we need to do to win the game. That's not really true. That's just all we need to have 10 points. If Hundro like goes up on BG and buys a Spicemas flow, then he's at 11, and then we still lose. Or if he comes in second place in the combat, which he probably will. That's the unfortunate thing about Economic Supremacy, is that even if you win it, you bleed points to the other players. Bashar is a second troop, or maybe we should say a 7th troop, but the problem is we don't actually have any yellow. So the interesting thing about Holtzman also is that it's a point. I think Armand is about to lock it up. Like, if we bought Holtzman and also a Spicemas flow, that would be enough to win the game at 8. Okay, so he didn't let us do that. So, right now, what do we think? I mean, I could go Liaison to Dreadnought, buy a Dreadnought to try to increase my odds of winning the combat, but that actually puts me below the Economic Supremacy threshold, so that doesn't work. So if we Highliner, we have water. That gives us Research Station if Armand doesn't take it first. Which I think is a solid... I think he will take it next action. But, yeah, let's go ahead and do Highliner. We actually do have enough for Private Army, believe it or not. Although, if we could find a way to get 2 more spice, buying a 3rd point would be much better. So we're sitting at a passive 14 right now, which is pretty good. Yes, Hundro has the flagship, but that's only 3 troops, and he has an empty garrison. If we don't... Like, we're not at 9. If we... Go away, Hundro. That's 3 more troops. So what did Hunter do? He went to 10 by getting a bump with BG. Which means if we win the combat, we pretty much have to get the spice. Very frustrating. Steals from Helena. And we'd be in such a better spot if we didn't have that one intrigue card that stole a point from us. Like, that was, I feel like, the critical point of the game that we lost, actually. I mean, I'm speaking prematurely. We could still win, but I don't think we will. If we Mentat, there's a Spice Must Flow, Esmar. I mean, the Spice is not bad. Let's take... I don't think he's threatening the combat. Do we want to try to get a Spice Must Flow, or do we want to try to maximize combat odds? Let's play Bashar, add an extra troop. Because we're at the point where we suddenly kind of care about Tiebreaker Spice. That's actually great. That means that now we can get ourselves to a much higher point. Get ourselves on our Spice Must Flow. Takes us to 9. We're at 11 if we win the combat. We also drew yellow, so like we could go grab Spice for the 3rd point that way too. So he puts in 4 troops. But I don't think that's enough. But it's enough for him to get a 2nd place point. Oh my gosh, that's so frustrating. Helena, you better have some combat juice. I mean, if she wins, then we definitely lose. Let's think here. We have a Spice Must Flow plus Private Army. I think we definitely use the Private Army. I don't think we try to gamble on, like, having the Spice to spend. I think we just go for the simple... try to win the combat. You know? The problem is there's nowhere that we can play the ring and still guarantee it's a Spice Must Flow. Like, half the cards in our deck don't have Persuasion. So we can't Mentat, for example. But by revealing early, we put our cards on the table. We haven't revealed this Bashar once. Technically, we're in the lead for this combat. But Helena has a lot more cards than we do. And she could go to, like, Siege Tabor if she wanted. There's a small possibility that, like, if we use Snoopers on Army, that we get either Corner the Market, which would probably win us the game, or a slightly better combat card. But the odds of the slightly better combat card are very low. There's 80 cards in the Intrigue deck. So, like, I think we just have to reveal here. I hate to say it. Especially when Hundro could smuggle again and put more troops in. Which would be a disaster. Because he's got those stupid troop transports. But, like, what does smuggling get me? If I smuggle, I take 2 spice. With the ring, that's like 5 spice. 2 in hand takes me like 7 spice. Which means I need to have... I can't buy a tech. It's just not feasible. You know, I could go ring to Imperial Basin. That is 3 spice plus my 2 plus my 2. Buy the spaceport. Yeah, why not? At this point. I should have done that, but I should have done it at smuggling to block Hundro. But I ran out of time before I could realize that. Yeah. Now he's going to put 3 more troops in. Can I still beat him? I don't think so. Damn. This sucks. Well, maybe, because hold on. Ordnance should mean I still beat him. Unless he has a combat card. But it's going to make him more likely to get another point from the combat. I screwed that up so bad. And I gave Helena a second spice. This would have been so much better. So Armand's at 10 with Holtzman. My clock was running down. I just had to do the math right, because if I don't have enough for the private army, it ends up screwing me. And there's of course, there's not a chance of drawing Esmar for more spice, so it's like, yeah. I think I lose because of that math error. We'll see. We'll see at the end. So, reveal 3 spice. Spice must flow. Go to 9. End turn. So I technically get 1 dagger ahead of Hundro, but if he has any daggers at all in hand, he still beats me. He doesn't have Spice Must Flow, which is nice. So we have a path. I don't think it's likely, but we do have a path. But we lose to we lose to Armand on Spice Tiebreaker if we get second. Atlanta with 2 daggers in hand. I think she's actually going to win the combat. Because she's got 4 intrigue cards. Yeah. So I can't win the combat now, which means I lose the game, I think. Because even with Private Army, I only get to 10. So actually, it didn't matter what I did here with smuggling. If those 2 tie, they each get a point. Yeah, this is just kind of a kind of annoying one. And I think Hundro wins at 11, unless Armand has a card. Okay, so Helena can buy no points. She only gets 1 from this. And then Hundro still gets to 11, so it's the same thing. Very, very annoying. And I'm still, even afterwards, I'm 1 spice short of Armand, so I come in last place. She has corner, but doesn't have any Spice Must Flows, I don't think. That sucks. Oh, I don't come in last. I come in third. Because the Helena was really bad.